Yo, what's up? I want to welcome you to Soundoff. This is your boy K Paper Chase, and I am up early. So what I'm doing now is I'm getting used to the grind. So that's what I want to talk about today. I talked about it a little bit in my last video. The name of the video is The Grind. If you haven't seen it, you can definitely check that out right there. So I want to talk about just some different experiences and stuff that I noticed that I went through as far as being in the job market. And talked about, I think, a trip I had, and I talked to about the bomb threat. So yeah, that was a story. But yeah, I think this is important because as we start getting older, you do start to kind of reconsider like your placement in the world as far as, okay, all right, am I going to work? Do I want to be a businessman? Like, what do I want to do? And see, it used to be like you could do that. I mean, you can still do that. You could get a good job. You can go out and get a job, work your job, make your money, and just chill. But what I'm noticing now is that I'm thinking I'm becoming more enterprise minded. I mean, I always had sound off for like 20 years. I had that for a while, but I've always worked. So I think what really started changing for me is the pandemic because what happened was the pandemic shut a lot of stuff down. I was working for a state agency and they shut us down in 2000, I think in March of 2000. So everything changed then. I didn't work for a couple of years. I didn't go back to work until 2022. And then since 2022, the jobs that I had were online jobs. So all of the jobs were remote. I was still doing instruction. I was doing the computer instruction, but I was doing it online, which was real convenient. And that's what I want to talk about too, because I was at that last job for about 4 years, and the job market has changed so much. So I was on that job for 4 years. Then the pandemic hit. After the pandemic hit, I was out of work for 2 years. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna go back to work. I've been out of work for 2 years. This was last year in 2022. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and go back to work. So I went back to work, and something that I did notice is that the wages have changed. So it is a good thing because I do feel like the wages are more, like they're paying us more for the jobs, but you got to look at it. It's because of the inflation too. So yeah, the wages are higher, but the inflation and everything else is higher too. So it kind of evens out. So anyway, I got a couple jobs and I work those jobs as far as contract positions. So yeah, that's what I know is you can make a lot of money too if you do a contract. Get with a consulting company or whatever, a temp agency, get them to give you a contract, whatever you do, see if they have it available. So yeah, so that's what I did. So I was in a contract for a few months. I made my money, but at the same time, I'm doing my business. So what I've decided is that I think it's going to be quicker for me if I still work and then I can still do my business on the side because what that work is going to do, that's going to give me the income that I need for my side projects. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the bills is paid, but sometimes it's like, man, if I could have extra money or more money coming in, I could use that to finance my other stuff and I could get there a whole lot quicker. So that's what I'm thinking like that. Maybe I need to go back to work full time, you know what I mean? And then I can get my other stuff done so much quicker. So yeah. So in this job hunt, I'm just gonna tell you about a story that I had. This was very recently. I think they contacted me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, it was a recruiter. They contacted me. This was for an analyst position. So it's like a computer instructor, but it's an analyst. You just look for stuff that's wrong, QA and stuff like that. So it's an analyst position. The position was $60 an hour, and the position was an analyst four. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do that. Took my interview. Everything was good. They said that they would contact me. All right, so I'm waiting to be contacted. Haven't been contacted. So I called them back. This was like 2 weeks, about a week later, because they said they were trying to fill it. So I called them back. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Hey, what's up with the job? You know what I'm saying? So then they were like, okay, well, that job has ended. That job is no longer available. Requisition number, everything is closed down. So I'm like, okay, all right, no job. So this was last week. So last week they called me back and they asked did I want to be on the interview for a job. It was the same person. So I was like, okay, all right. So maybe this is the second interview for that same position. So I get in the interview. I mean, I really didn't pay attention. I didn't know the requisition number had changed or whatever. So I get in the interview, and I take the interview, and he asked me about pay. I say, hey, well, the job said it was $60 per hour. It was like, no, that job is a $65. It is a $60 per hour. So he was like, no, it's not 60 per hour. It's $30 per hour. This is an analyst two position. It's not an analyst four position. That analyst four job, we're not doing that anymore. Now we're hiring for the analyst two. I was like, damn, here we go. I get this a lot, right? So I'm like, okay. Then he's like, all right, so what's your pay range? So when they asked me what the pay range is, I asked him for his budget. I said, what's your budget? He was like, yeah, the budget is $30 an hour. So I'm like, $30 an hour. Now look, I ain't trying to act like I mean, $30 an hour is $30 an hour. That's good ass money. So I'm not trying to act like I'm above taking $30 an hour and nothing like that. But you gotta look at the principle. This is an analyst position and it should be $60 an hour. They're offering me $30 an hour. So I was like, no, I can't take $30 an hour. He was like, what's the lowest you will accept? I said, okay, I'll take $40 an hour. Because like I said, $40 an hour is $40 an hour. You know what I mean? It's not like I have to be on the job. I'm not trying to make a career there and be there forever and try to be a supervisor. I'm making my money and be out. So he's like, okay, we'll call you back on the $40 an hour. So I'm like, okay. So they call me Monday and he comes back and he says, okay, we can do $34 an hour. It's like $34 an hour. You know what I mean? I just went from 60 to 35. Like I said, I'm talking to people and they're like, yo, you gotta take that job, you gotta take the job. And I get it, but still it's the principle. The thing that's hard for me is that I feel like I'm just as smart as these white boys or whoever else that's up in there, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times what'll happen, I'll be in the job and there'd be somebody sitting beside me that's not really doing anything, that's making $150,000 a year. So although $34 is a good pay, when you look at it, considering the job and probably consider what other people are making, I want to make what they want, what they make. All right, so that's like, all right, $34 an hour. He's like, all right, we're gonna print out your contract. You know, we got to make your paperwork go through or whatever. We're gonna call you next week. So I was like, okay. So I'm still sitting there home, like, damn, just kind of looking for another job because I know it's gonna be some bullshit. Because now I know that when I do work there, probably not gonna want to be there long, and they just basically cut it in half. So I wasn't too happy. So Monday I get an email, and the email was a contract, and the contract was $30 an hour. It was on my contract. So I politely sent the contract back, and I told them no. All right, so now I got people saying, "Yo, man, you was crazy. You should have told him no. You should have went ahead and took the $30 an hour." But like I'm saying, man, to me, it's a principle. And what I am noticed, man, I mean, it's some jobs out there that's making 80, $100, $120 an hour for the same computer stuff. That's what I'm noticing. And then too, it's not necessarily a college degree that you need. Most of these people that's working in, even like the administrators and stuff like that, they don't have a 4-year college degree. A lot of them, they might have went to University of Phoenix or they might have took a administration courses. Yeah, I didn't took that. You know what I mean? But it's not really a degree that's needed. So a lot of these people, they even learn to code themselves. So it's like these nerdy guys that's sitting up there. You know what I'm saying? They go to work maybe 2 days a week. They off 3 days a week, and they're making $100,000 a year. And that's cool, man. Everybody needs to get paid. You know what they're worth. And I was talking to somebody. So I was talking to my brother, and he was telling me why are you worried about what other people make? So I had to think about that. I was like, that is true, man. You know, if I got a mission to go in here just to finance something, like I'm just gonna work for a couple of months, get this money up so I can do something else. Really, I guess it shouldn't matter, should it? But it does. It does. And what I'm finding out now is that now, like I said, I feel like the job market is a little bit better. Wages are a little bit higher, and they're all offering me more money for the job. I didn't realize that they had risen that much. So they're all offering me more money for the job. But at the same time, you got to have some integrity. And I feel like if the job starts off treating you like that, just don't go for it. So I said, no, I'm not going to take $30 an hour for a $60 an hour job. And like I said, and I bet the other people in there are still making 60, at least 45, 50 or something. So I said, no. So that's where I'm at right now. So it's crazy out there because the grind, it is crazy. And something that I noticed, I just want to make sure that I'm getting paid, the proper amount. There's been a couple of times when, I try to get like lowball. That's why I always ask them, probably what you should ask them too. And they say, what's your pay rate? What's your budget for the project? Whatever your budget is, we can cap it at that. And then another thing, well, this was on LinkedIn, so never mind. My name is a very neutral name. So it doesn't sound like a black guy. So if you read my resume and look at it, you won't think I'm black. So I was paranoid. I was wondering, like, damn, did they hear my voice on the phone and be like, oh, hell no, we're going to cut $10 off of his pay? You know what I mean? I just be wondering that sometimes because of my name. But this was on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn got my picture and everything. And the recruiter contacted me. So that is a good place. So if you all are job hunting, get on LinkedIn, create your profile, do your resume because that's a big help. And when these recruiters are looking for certain people, they're looking for your skills. So make sure you put all your skills up there and it'll match up. So yeah. So yeah, that's my experience with them. This is the second job that's done this. I took another job, signed a contract and everything, and the company disappeared. So I don't know. Well, they didn't disappear, but they didn't take the contract for the universal healthcare thing. So yeah, but it's money out there. It's ways to make money. Now I'm thinking, I've been in the house for a couple of years, shit, like 4 years. I'm thinking like, damn, maybe I need to just go out and get a regular job, just go to work. But you get used to being at home. I get used to my free time, being able to do what I need to do. But it's okay to do both. So yeah, I just want to say, yeah, part of being enterprise minded, being a small businessman, is just realizing that you can do more than one thing. The whole point is having more than one income. So if I can still have my income from my side projects, that's paying my bills, and if I can go to work and make that extra money, I can get where I need to get twice as fast. So that's what I'm doing. So yeah, that's what I do. I'm a instructor. I do software instruction. I'm an analyst. If anybody needs any tutoring, anything, definitely holler at me, and I'm gonna get that part rolling too. So yo, this is K Paper Chase. I want to thank you for joining Soundoff. Just wanted to give you my 2 cents on the job situation. And this grind series is going to be quite a few videos because I got quite a few stories. I done did a lot of stuff at work. So thank you for joining. And hey, be easy. Sound off.